Well, what a punters guide we've got for you this weekend. A brilliant lineup of action of horse racing, both here and over in France, of course. Prix de Triomphe weekend. Longchamp in action on Saturday as well. Jason Weaver alongside us. One front the ITV cameras at Chester Haydock, but a big card at Newmarket as well, Jason. Group 1s, big field Cambridgeshire Oaks. What a weekend.
Yeah, absolute cracker. Everybody's looking for that real superstar at this time to go through. Obviously, later on, we've got a Van Dijk, but we've still got horses that are progressing through, hoping to win now, thinking that they will be Derby, Guineas horses next season. And yeah, it's a cracking start to proceedings. The Royal Lodge, everybody will focus in on Capulet. He managed to win his maiden at Dundalk, and then he was half a length behind stablemate Diego Vasquez when he ran on his second start. But for me, Ablan at the top for Charlie Appleby was winning out of turn. He won at Sandown. He was probably a little bit further back than ideal, looked to be, still learning on the job. There's every reason to expect that Ablan could start a resurgence for the team. Of course, Buick is over in France, and so Doyle gets the call.
Well, that's the Royal Lodge cover then. Obviously, Betfred Derby candidates maybe for next year. Let's have a look at the Cheveley part, the first Group 1 of the weekend of many, both at home and abroad. A brilliant field assembled, as you would expect. Relief Rally, though, what a season she has had for William Haggis, is your likely market leader. Well, there's plenty queued up to take her on.
Yeah, look, she's gone through the grades beautifully. Windsor, Salisbury, Super Sprint, and obviously the Lowther. We've got Soprano, who has been knocking loudly on the door all throughout the campaign. Form ties in with a whole host of these. And then you got Porta Fortuna, won the Albany. She's actually gone missing the last twice. And I have no idea about Jasna's Secret, the French filly who's coming over. Both runs are at Deauville. She won a sales race last time. And of course, Cherry Blossom bumped into One Look in the sales race over in Ireland, beat a big field. I have to say, I've long been a fan of Persian Dreamer. We all know what's been happening with Kevin Stott and the owner. They've had a bit of a fallout. Kieran Schumacher comes in for the ride. She was very good when winning at Newmarket last time. Great big filly. She can only improve as the season progresses. And I think next year she will be a champion.
There we are, Persian Dreamer then in the Group 1 Cheveley Park. We've got another Group 1 for juveniles. This time it's the Middle Park over 6 furlongs. Brilliant field assembled once again. A bit of a rerun from the race in France 6 weeks ago, which went the way of Van Dijk, who's unbeaten. But rumours at River Tiber wasn't quite at his best going into that. He hasn't got much to find when he's back in third.
No, he hasn't. And I'm fascinated to see how they go with the matchup again. Both of them under quicker conditions. Van Dijk has been going through the grades lovely. The last twice, though, it's been very testing conditions, and he's handled it. Has he got more potential to be even better on a quicker surface? That is the question with him, isn't it? And I hope that he rubber stamps the form and can confirm it with River Tiber. If in here, that's the way I think the win will go as far as Van Dijk goes. But if there's one in here at the wrong price, Elite Status wasn't a massive price in the morning. He ran a shocker over there, beating some 17 lengths. But up in double digits, 14, 16, somewhere around there, I think he's a big each-way player.
I agree. I looked at that, yeah, back on quicker ground. He's very impressive, one early on in the season, and I thought he looked overpriced as well. Bear in mind, he was a lot shorter against those pair in France last time. Right then, the Cambridgeshire, 35 runners. Just give us an idea of what it's like to ride at this. This is the biggest field you will get on the flat. 35 runners spread across the Roding Mile. It's a great spectacle for us watching the crowd. What's it like for being amongst them as a jockey?
Yeah, well, two things. First of all, it's a 1 mile, but it's straight. There is a 1.25 miles straight on the Roding Mile. That's the longest straight you'll get anywhere in the country, significantly. So draw is all important. Low numbers will be on the far side of the track as you look at it, and high numbers up towards the standside rail. You need one either side, I think. To ride in, it's like a wave. Honestly, you can get in between a bunch and think you're in a happy spot. And if there's some sort of scrimmaging up in front of you, that ripple will come back down through. So you need a lot of luck in running.
Yeah, a lot of lucky running then, despite, I say, the wide expanses in Newmarket. Come on then, 35 runners. I'll let you have a couple of darts this time.
Yeah, one either side of the track. I will say, let's get a quick mention about the favourite, Greek Order. He's been very keen in his two races, one over a mile and a quarter, both in fairly small fields. This is going to be a completely different ask for him. He's going to need all of Oisin Murphy's brilliance if he's to overcome a hike in the ratings and winning a big field. I think I like two from the same race, actually, Major Partnership and Akna Nalja. They both ran behind Gali, a stablemate of Major Partnership. That was at Ascot a couple of runs ago. Now, the variant runner has the blinkers on for the first time, is a massive prize, about 33, somewhere around there. But he's a half brother to Galileo Gold, who you remember was a right villain. The headgear goes on and he's drawn in the low numbers. Major Partnership, on the other hand, has got a significant chance to improve because he finally steps up in distance. That's the key with him. Pat Dobbs on board, who will be in sparkling form as ever. He's drawn in the high numbers in 23, which has been favoured in the last few seasons.
There we are then, couple against the field then. In the Cambridgeshire, looking forward to that 340. Right, we've also got a competitive contest at Chester as well, over the Chester Cup course and distance. 9's set to go to post again in front of the ITV cameras. So this is about 8 times around the Rudy, isn't it? 2.25 miles.
It's an absolute cracker, isn't it? We've got loads of these that are multiple winners. Baez down the bottom has gone from 57 to 81. Your Kindness, 68 to 83. They've been doing a whole lot of winning. And some favourites, you know, the Grand Vizier, Earl of the Cotswold, Tashcan, they've been regulars. The only unknown quantity in the lineup has got to be Zealandia. Stepped up in trip for the win last time at Goodwood. That was the first time he'd sort of ventured towards marathon distances. And for all the world, coming from that team, Ian Williams, David Probert booked, he's going to relish the extreme distance. Zealandia is the one I could see in here as a big improver.
Well, then Zealandia at Chester. And from the stayers to the sprinters, and not too far away either, just from Chester to Haydock, it's called the Dapper Dash for Cash Handicap. It could be the Jason Weaver over the cliff handicap, because there's plenty in here that you followed.
Oh my word. I mean, some old favourites, aren't there? The old Mondam Edge. Silky Wilkie's been a good horse, hasn't he? You have to say, he's had a tremendous season, picking up a whole host of money along the way. Arecibo. But you're right. The two in here that jump out at me have got to be Manila Scouse and Woolhampton. Woolhampton ran a cracker behind Call Me Ginger when last seen and looks primed for a big run. Could be a welcome winner for Laura Pearson, who's having a bit of a lean time. But it's got to be Manila Scouse, who went back-to-back, didn't he? Here at Haydock, ran a cracker in the Racing League, went missing, ran a stormer at York. That was a very, very good effort. Why won't Manila Scouse run really well? Duran Fentiman, it is your time to shine.
There we are then. He's going with that old boy. And of course, we can't leave without having a look at the action at Longchamp as well. There's a couple of Group 1s over there. On Saturday, we'll be back later on for Sunday's action as well, featuring the Prix de Triomphe. But brilliant weekend, as it always is at Longchamp. We'll talk about the Prix de Cadran, 2.5 mile. Triomphe goes here, back to his best at Doncaster. It was a late call to come here and not head straight to Ascot. Other growings on the soft side, probably a little quicker than he would normally like it.
Yeah, I mean, what a return to action. That was one of the best training performances I've seen. Holly Doyle lost the fight with him halfway around and let him go, but got into a real big argument with him. Hopefully the team are a little bit in more harmony on the way around here. He actually won this contest in 2021. He battered Stradivarius on that occasion underneath James Doyle. Has good form here. What is not to like? I know that a lot of people will look at Emily Dickinson, Dettori's book for that, going to be popular. Don't think she stayed behind Courage Mon Ami in the Gold Cup this year. So come on, Triomphe. We all love him to bits, don't we? Let's hope Holly can be that proverbial pea on a drum and not get into an argument.
Yeah, Triomphe then back for the Cadran. I think he's won the last 3 long distance cup, and I guess that's where he'll be as well in a few weeks' time, 3 weeks' time back at Ascot. And also want to talk about the other Group 1 on the card, the Prix de Royal as well. This looks like a brilliant renewal for the fillies over a mile 6. So we've got plenty of British interest, we've got Irish interest with Shamida for Dermot Weld as well. Jamie Spencer on board Sumo Sam, who's won her last two, I should say, from the front. Jamie put on fairly pigeonholed, isn't he, as a hold-up jockey? He's got a clock in his head as well.
Oh yeah, he can definitely get the job done. Sumo Sam, what a brilliant win at Goodwood, and proven it no fluke afterwards. And she's obviously quite clearly thoroughly progressive. She's not the easiest to predict, or hadn't been previously. But Spencer on the front end. When you go in here, you've got Sea Silk Road, Mellow. Both of those are in the same form behind Warm Heart and the Vermeil. That's rock solid form. There is one, again, who I think, like Zealandia that we were talking about, who steps up in distance. Ottery, who goes for Andre Fabre. Arguably a little bit unlucky when last seen over the extended 1.5 miles. Up in trip, this is over the 1.6 miles. It'll take a bit of getting around there. And I just feel the daughter of Dubawi's got a bit of unfinished business, being a little unlucky last time. I'm loath to underestimate Andre Fabre.
Yes, at your peril, indeed. Ottery in the Juddmonte Silks, then in the Prix de Royal. So that's 8 races looked at. I mean, we've been to Longchamp, we've been to the Northwest, we've been to HQ as well. What would be your idea of a best bet on the card on Saturday?
I think that at the prices, and it's certainly factored in because she's double digits at the moment, Persian Dreamer was a very, very good winner when we saw her last time. She goes in the Cheveley Park. She's not a million miles away from the top rated in there. In fact, just £2 away from Relief Rally. Admittedly, she'll need to improve again if she's going to lower the fillies' Lowther colours from last time at York. But at the prices, I thought at a double digits, Persian Dreamer will get the job done for me.
All my double digits Relief Rally, a Persian Dreamer then each. And before we go, just must mention, of course, that the Arc de Triomphe probably on better ground than we expect this year. We'll be on the soft side of good, but it is, as always, a brilliant renewal. We've got contenders, obviously, from here, America, France, as you would expect, Germany and Japan. It really is a cosmopolitan feel to this year's renewal.
Yeah, it is. I think that, the Japanese have had 30 goes and they brought over some superstars. Maybe, just maybe, their filly flies under the radar, having run close up behind Equinox last time. If you get an opportunity, have a look at the rerun. Arguably should have won with a better run round. I know he went round the world, but just have a look at that. And then, of course, when you look at Ace Impact, if he's the real deal, is he going to go and bolt up? But it's a big field. It's his biggest ask, and he steps up in trip. And of course, we're all waiting on the ground conditions.
Yeah, we certainly are. But I say it is fantastic. I mean, as you would expect for the Yorkshire Premier Distance Contest, we've got the French Derby winner, a King George winner, a Champion Stakes winner, a German Derby winner in there as well. I know I've missed plenty out. A Coronation Stakes second. We've got all the best of the best lining up.
Yeah, look, and when we get a field that size going around there, jockeyship is going to be at an absolute premium. You mentioned the horses. We've got a St. Ledger winner who's coming back down in trip. He has been supplemented along with the German Raider. All of this money going in there. It's an absolutely brilliant lineup. I don't know. There's been a few Ledger winners have actually gone close, haven't they? Does he strike you as an ARC winner at the moment? That is the key, but it will be a cracker.
Certainly will be, yes. 3:05 on Sunday. Looking forward to that. So thanks to Jason then. Best of luck with all his selections and, of course, Persian Dreamer. But one man who's got a big ride in the Arc is Richard Kingscote. He's on board the Champion Stakes winner, Baybridge, and I caught up with him to discuss both his rides at Newmarket on Saturday and the big one at Longchamp. Well, I'd like to be joined by Richard Kingscote once again. Richard, what a weekend we've got to look forward to, Newmarket and France.
Yeah, massive weekend of lots of Group 1 races, all over the place, and it'd be full on.
We'll start in the Newmarket then in a listed contest. You got Crystal Caprice for Sir Michael Statt, who's also got Potapova in the race.
Yeah, she was very progressive last year. Probably the most straightforward this year. Been keen a couple of times over 1.25 miles, but we're back to 1 mile on some better ground for her. So hopefully we can see some of what she was showing last year.
And you've got a ride for your retainment in the maiden as well, Al Shabab Storm. He was third at Leicester, and the winner's gone a close third in the Haynes Hansen Clark since.
Yeah, he ran really well. The ground was very soft that day, which he managed with nicely. But hopefully back on a sounder surface. He showed a great attitude. I thought he felt like he was just going to come through and win, and then he just tired the last few strides. So maybe just, as I say, back on a better surface should just help him a bit.
Now let's have a look at Saturday's rides then. You got a nice ride in the Royal Lodge Ghost Racer. You won on debut and he's still unbeaten.
Yeah, give me a lovely feel at Newmarket first time. He felt like a horse that all he's going to do is improve with time, but then he backed up that nice win with another win at Ascot in a race that's working out nicely. So, as I say, he deserves his chance in this sort of race. Definitely a horse I'd look forward to next year. He's a lovely big horse with a frame to fill, and whatever he does this year will be a bonus. But I'm looking forward to getting on him.
Do you feel like you could build it to maybe a middle distance classic type next season?
Yeah, I think that's the way he's looking. He'll already staying a mile. He's, as I said just now, he's a big frame of a horse, but he done well. He coped with obviously the July track well, came down that dip, which obviously we're on a different track, but does have its similarities. So hopefully that will stand him in good stead.
And you also got a ride on Jassor in the Group 1 Middle Park as well. Yeah, I think you're yet to ride. Obviously disappointed in France, but back on quicker ground, will we see a better Jassor?
Yeah, I think France is one you could put a line through. He hit the lids too well, almost done too much in front, I felt. After watching Jim win on him in the July Stakes, I'd be looking to get him some cover. We're drawn next to Van Dijk, which will be helpful. I don't think we saw the best of him in France, but it'd be a tough race nonetheless.
And obviously he's already won a big race over on the July course, didn't he, at the July meeting?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the first 4 or 5 strides will be the most important for him, just getting him in to some cover, getting him to drop his head and run the race the right way around.
Let's talk about the Cambridgeshire then. Obviously a bit of a lottery, big field, but a horse that deserved to get his head in front, and he did last time at York, is Astro King. He's ultra consistent.
Yeah, they've got him back on song this year, up to 1.25 miles. Maybe looking now that the 1.25 miles is what he really wants, but obviously it's a 1.1 miles with 35 runners. Hopefully it should be run at a proper gallop. Quite nicely for me, I'm drawn 35 of 35, so I've no question marks of do I go left or do I go right. So yeah, I'll stay where I'm put, and that makes my life a bit easier.
And obviously this is the flat race. This is the biggest field you can get on the flat, isn't it? 35 runners. What's that like as a jockey to ride in? It can be a nightmare, I guess, if you do split into 2 groups.
Well, I'd imagine with 35 there could well be 3+ groups. It's difficult when you're drawn in the middle. You start looking who the fancied runners are. Where am I going to go left? Has there been a bias on the track? But as I say, I'm drawn on 35. There's nothing I can do but stay there. I'm not going to go hunting for other places. They are a cavalry charge, these races, and it's just trying to get some gaps and latch onto the right horses to take you through the race, really.
And obviously off his highest ever mark now as well. The handicap has not been too kind, but he probably deserves it for his consistency and that win at York.
Yeah, he often boils over before the races, but a couple of times he's shown some real sparkle when he's on song, and hopefully he can do that at Newmarket.
And then there is the big one to talk about as well. Obviously, the Prix de Triomphe. It was your first ride in it. Excited by it?
Yeah, really looking forward to him. He's in good order. I'm hoping the ground doesn't dry out too much. I think it's forecast to be run on good soft ground, which I think would be perfect for almost everybody, which is, I think, pretty nice for this time of year. We've got a lovely draw in 6, big field to compete with. I think there's lots of horses you could conceivably say can win. There's no obviously the 3-year-old we've got to give weight and he's unbeaten, but nonetheless, it's a cracking race.
And he deserves to take his chances. He's a champion stakes winner, and he impressed at Kempton, all right, in a Group 3, but up in trip last time.
Yeah, it was important to see how he coped with the 1.5 miles going forward. Gave us confidence and the option to go to the Arc, and he deserves to be there.
And what are you thinking? Are you going to track some of these jockeys that have been there and done it?
I'll be watching lots of replays, lots of reruns, and making a plan with Sir Michael and James, our assistant. Obviously, I know my horse well. He likes to be handy. But yeah, be looking to see where we can get a lead from.
I mean, you've won a Derby, you've won obviously Champion Stakes on Bay Bridge. What would it mean to you to win a Prix de Triomphe, Europe's premier middle distance contest?
Well, I think an Arc is a massive occasion, and yeah, the Derby was huge, and I think the Arc is on a par with that, really. So obviously, everyone would love to win it.
And just quickly, you did mention the ground. Obviously, normally it's bottomless this time of year in France, and when you've got a horse that needs a bit of dig, all right, we'll be on the soft side of good, but it's quicker than we expect this time of year over in Paris.
Yeah, exactly, and they're on. They had a deluge last week, which really helped us. And this time of year, it's not drying overly quickly. So hopefully, by the time we get to Sunday, it should be lovely ground. I believe we're on a fresh strip as well that they've railed off. So hopefully, it will give everyone a fair crack.